Hi, my name is Tron Lee, and I am the Director of Development at Wynne Systems, and today we're going to talk about EMV readiness. The agenda, we'll start by going over the agenda. We'll talk about the EMV in general and go into some detail about its impact and some important deadlines to you. Next, I'll explain how credit card transactions are processed today in RentalMan, and then show you how that will change once you've converted to your EMV-enabled devices. We'll wrap up the presentation with what would be required in order to become EMV compliant. I'll cover both the software and hardware requirements needed and provide some general guidelines in regards to dates these should be accomplished by. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So for those of you who are not aware, I'm going to go over EMV briefly and give you a high-level crash course on it. EMV stands for Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. They are the three organizations that contributed to this standard. The new requirement affects only US-based locations. Canadian locations have had this requirement for all card types except Discover, which will be enabled later this year. Europe has had these requirements in place for several years, at least 5 years. The EMV requirements have come about because of rampant fraud in this credit card industry, the practice of taking a static credit card number and using them for fraudulent transactions. This has been adopted worldwide outside of the United States. If you've been to Europe anytime within the last 5 to 10 years, you will notice these chip and PIN cards that are being used everywhere. It is a proven technology and an industry standard. The deadline for merchants and credit card issuers to be EMV compliant is October 1st, 2015. On this date, liability shifts from credit card issuers to merchants. What this means is that merchants who are still using non-EMV compliant devices will assume the liability for counterfeit credit card transactions. So if one of your customers uses a stolen credit card at your store, you will have to cover the cost of that transaction in the case of a dispute. This applies only to card-present transactions. That is when the customer and the credit card is in front of you. They do not apply for orders taken over the phone or on the web, also known as card-not-present transactions. So now that I've gone over the high-level parts of EMV credit cards, I wanted to explain how credit card transactions within RentalMan work today and how it will change once the regulation takes effect. If your customer is at the counter and ready to pay for their invoice or deposit, the counter person will tell them the total, and then the customer will hand over their credit card. Your counter person then swipes the card into RentalMan. RentalMan takes this information and transmits it to National Merchant Alliance, also known as NMA. NMA receives the credit card information and then sends an authorized or not authorized status back to RentalMan. Come October, that process will change significantly. The counter person will key in the invoice or deposit into RentalMan. RentalMan will then send the request to the terminal. Rather than hand the counter person their credit card, the terminal will prompt the customer to insert their card, and then the customer will have to enter their PIN. This is one area that prevents any fraud. The credit card never exchanges hands. Once the device has read the card information, it will encrypt it and send it directly to NMA. The actual credit card number will never be transmitted. The credit card sends a one-time use code to the device, and it only can be used for this specific transaction. NMA decrypts the code and then processes the card. NMA then sends the approved or declined status directly to the terminal. Finally, the terminal forwards the response to RentalMan. So as you can see, this process no longer goes through RentalMan, which means no credit card information is ever transmitted through the server. In order to prepare for this, you will need to do some things. I'll go over the software requirements first and then what you will need to do for hardware. You'll need to be on the latest PTF of version 11, which will be released in September. If you are currently behind on PTFs, I would recommend getting up to the latest PTF now and then doing a minor update in September. For SaaS clients, the update will be automatically applied. As always, PTF updates are included in your maintenance fees. For hardware requirements, first and foremost, you have to have new readers. The new readers that we will be supporting are the Verifone MX915s. So just to warn you, these devices are expensive. We understand that they cost approximately $5.99 a piece. and they will be purchased directly through National Merchant Alliance. They will also have a $15 per month maintenance fee that will also be charged by National Merchant Alliance. So one of the options to mitigate this cost is to buy one credit card reader or two credit card readers per store and designate those workstations to be the only ones that accept credit cards. The devices are network attached. They are attached through Cat6 or a Cat5 cable, and a site-to-site VPN connection is required. So each device will need its own IP address like a printer. So if you have switches in your branches that are maxed out and they're all being used, it's possible that you'll need to upgrade your switches as well. So now that we've gone through the requirements, the question is, could you opt to not install the devices? So yes, you can still accept credit cards. They're not going to prevent you from taking credit cards. However, if you do that, you would assume the risk of any fraudulent transactions. So per Visa, the EMV liability shift does not apply to card-not-present transactions. The liability remains subject to existing liability and chargeback rules. So one alternative is to have your customers pay their invoices through Customer Portal. After they log in, they can use the Make Payment option from the invoice screen and then enter the credit card information, which will automatically apply the payment in RentalMan. If you do not have Customer Portal, or if your Customer Portal is currently not taking credit cards today and you need an update, please contact us and we'll be happy to help you get that going. Thank you very much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, please contact us at marketing@wynnesystems.com. Thank you.